He had made it. He was at one of the greatest schools in the country, going to class as a great student athlete. And this is how the story ends. When the parents are ready to talk, they're going to talk to you about the issues of gun violence and how now it's so close to home for them, for Coach Sims and I, for this Miami community yet again, and across this country. This day is about Deshaun and talking about Deshaun and honoring him. It's always going to be about Lavelle Davis, Devin Chandler, who lost their lives, Mike Hollins, who's still struggling, and Marley Morgan, who was also shot in a senseless incident. I will tell you that the Perry family extends their incredible gratitude to the South Florida community, the Gulliver community, the Charlottesville community, the UVA community for their support. They also ask that everyone be there for them when they begin their journey as yet another family that has been impacted by gun violence. I'd like to turn it over now to Coach Earl Sims, who not only is Deshaun's coach, but his mentor and really his second father. Coach Sims.
Thank you. First, I'd like to acknowledge the other two men, Lavelle Davis Jr. and Devin Chandler and their families and communities mourning this senseless loss of life. Our South Florida, Richmond Heights, University of Virginia, and Gulliver communities all stand with the Perry family and express our sincere, heartfelt sympathies as we all mourn the loss of Deshaun Perry. Deshaun was a beautiful soul, whom I, among many, had the privilege of meeting. If you look at his picture, and if you just came in contact with him, his smile would light up a room. I echo the sentiments of several of my colleagues when I say that Deshaun was a delightful, respectful, hardworking person who was one of the best overall young men our communities had to offer. Sure, he was an athletic, three-sport athlete with a high motor and a fierce competitive nature, but he was also, to his core, kind, thoughtful, and caring. Deshaun believed in God and had a strong faith. Some words from his fellow teammates from last night's Zoom call was, Deshaun loved people, he loved me. Deshaun helped people and showed us the way we should live our lives. Everyone on that call was grateful for his brotherhood. The last thing that I would say is he was like a son to me. He was a gentle giant who added value and purpose to my life as well as others. He'll truly be missed, but we'll make sure that his legacy lives on. There has been a huge outpour of support from each of the communities Deshaun positively impacted. And I ask we all keep it up in the coming weeks because the family's going to need it. And that we please continue to keep all the families of the victims in our prayers. Before I step away from this podium, there are two things I have to read. And they are things that Deshaun created in the form of English assignments. The first one is titled Bigger Than Me. I chose Bigger Than Me by Big Sean to represent my junior year because I had an epiphany. I had an epiphany that when we were in football practice and we were practicing with the teams from the middle school, one kid came up to me and said, I want to become just like you when I go to high school. I realized that it's not just about me in the sense of what I want to do. but the people that helped me get to where I am right now, and those ones who look up to me to this day. I know my parents have done all they could to get me into this school and give me everything that I have today. So in return, whatever I do in the future, I will make sure that whoever has helped me become successful will receive something in return. All I want to do is make my family and the city I'm from proud. And then one more piece. This was an assignment Deshaun completed about underdogs. This was his introduction, and it's a testament of how he lived his life. Imagine a situation where no one believed in you. Imagine every odd stacked against you, and it looks like you will never get the job done. Critics telling you that you are nothing and you will never win anything. This is what being an underdog feels like. I've been in many situations where I or the team I was playing on were considered underdogs. But even though there was the hate and adversity, we turned it into motivation and overcame those odds. Many people didn't believe in our team. People called us too small or a team without much talent. Many didn't believe what we could do, but we proved them wrong anyway. My favorite example of being an underdog and proving everyone wrong would be my first homecoming game of my high school football career. One that I won't forget as long as I live. Thank you.
Questions? For the coach, you said he was like a son to you. Do you have a specific memory or any details on why he was like a son to you? What made him so different than others?
I saw Deshaun every day because we traveled together to school. There's nothing that he wouldn't do if asked. I remember specifically asking him to go down to the middle school with me and just, help to inspire the young ones who look up to him to continue playing in high school. And he did without a doubt. He was always giving of himself. As a matter of fact, I also remember different community service events where we partnered with the Dolphins and we helped to create food baskets and a food giveaway. Something that, he didn't have to do, it wasn't required. Same thing with the Cancer Challenge and same thing with many other events. But he always wanted to give, and that's what he lived for. And I think that's how he left, still giving.
Yeah, like when you're speaking to his family, what are they saying to you? What are they feeling right now? Obviously, this is such a difficult time for them, but exactly what are they saying to you?
You're talking about two parents who put everything into their children, everything, their goal, their hopes, their dreams, and to see him succeed. And again, Coach Sims out talking about it's not about football. That was just part of it. To become the type of kid he was that always looked to give back at 18, 19, 20 years old, to already be thinking in your mindset, and to lose all of that as a parent, when your dream comes true, and then have it end like this. So they are in a deep moment of despair. They got to see him yesterday, which was extremely awful for them. The support up there is incredible. The vigil that they had at UVA, and now they just want to get him home and try to go on. I would say every day by day, but I think it's more hour by hour, and get him home and continue, like Coach said, to honor him the rest of our lives.
You have represented the parking shooting victims, the family members of Scott Beagle, a teacher who died there, and Joaquin Oliver, a student. You had mentioned that the parents wanted to address gun violence, and you were also talking about kind of a legacy Do you think as a family flagged, are we working with those parents and the family members of the Parkland murdered on issues of gun violence? Would that be part of his legacy now?
Well, I think the first thing that his mother happy said to me is, I want to be part of this solution. We have to stop this. And I can tell you, I mean, Manny Oliver, Patricia Oliver, Linda Beagle, and Michael Schulman, the parents of Scott Joaquin, were sort of the first people that reached out to me. I mean, the hope I have for having Sean is I've seen the incredible power of these parental victims before. I don't understand it. I think that they have some type of super strength. I truly, as a parent, cannot understand it. But Happy and Sean want to be involved in this. They know it's going to happen again. The worst part of this is that everybody in this room, everybody watching this news conference knows there's going to be another mass shooting in the United States. If not today, tomorrow. We all know that. And as a society, we have to do something. And this family is committed to doing that. And when they come home and get through the next weeks, I think they'll be incredible advocates, like unfortunately those before them.
Have officials in Virginia spoken to the family of why? Why this happened? I mean, was there any dialogue as far as the intervention? I mean, this was.
As we all know, the investigation is ongoing, both the criminal aspect and others. So most of the talks between the families, it has been about, getting Deshaun home and dealing with those logistics, and obviously we'll be involved in the investigation.
Because there's some similarities between Parkland and this in terms of missed moments, right, with the shooter, with the gunman.
Yeah, I think today is obviously about Deshaun and the investigation's ongoing, but we'll certainly talk about
The
that.
only reason why I try to flesh it out, as you were saying, as we try to get a little bit more of the parents and understanding, it sounds like from you, that their focus is really going to be on gun violence. That's going to be their message when we hear from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we know when he's coming back home, Deshaun?
We're hoping today, but it'll be today or tomorrow.
Any other questions?
I guess for the coach, when I was at Gulliver on Monday, I did have a chance to speak to, just on the side, some teachers who knew him. It really seems like the entire campus was absolutely devastated, but that was my impression. Are you able to help us understand just the impact on the campus right now?
So it took a while for me to even be able to return back to my position as a teacher and coach. I just returned to school today. But the amount of devastation cannot be described, because every moment is dedicated to just thinking about the inconceivable happening. Deshaun was a beautiful flower in our garden at Gulliver. And when he got transplanted to his next school, we knew he was going to continue to grow. But, I've got to pick that flower.
Coach, when you saw the news and you knew what happened, how did you feel at that moment?
I was praying that his life would be spared. But when I found out that he had passed, I was shaken to the core. I have a strong faith as well, but I was shaken so much that I couldn't feel the feet under me. I went in, to be with the parents. And that was tough, because the amount of grief we all felt is because we knew the promise he had. And because it's like extracting life or extracting a huge tree out of the ground, certainly leaving a big hole. still feel that every day. I thought initially that being alone would help me to process everything, but then I realized I needed to be around everybody who loved him and the people I love too.
Any other questions? Christina?
No, thank you, President.
Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, right. Let's see if I can get a live shot here. I know where you live.